Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to this channel. That way, when I release more videos like this, you'll get notified. Welcome to the Enough Already podcast. I'm your host, Betsy, Jordyn, and I'm doing something very special today. So if you're listening in on your podcast, you can continue the way that you normally would. But if you want to see more visuals and more of the examples of what I'm going to be going over in today's podcast, you could also find it in a mini webinar format on my blog and on my YouTube channel. So you have a couple different ways of consuming this content today. And it's because I really want to get into the hows around how do you build this brand. So hopefully through this Own Your Strengths series that we've been going through on the Enough Already podcast, you've been clear, or you've been clearer that you really do want a high impact, high income consulting or coaching business. And that you also want a business that leverages your strengths. So we've been talking a lot about strengths because they matter, because they are the key to helping you activate your passion and your purpose in the world. And hopefully you've been convinced that you do deserve that control over your time and your earning power and your career and all of that. And you can get all of that through your consulting and coaching business. But here's the thing. Here's the big challenge that a lot of consultants and coaches figure out at some point or another is that you just can't get by with just getting out there and getting clients. This is one of those pieces of advice you'll get all the time when you're first starting your business, and that people are saying, well, I don't understand why you need to do anything but that, because you could just go out and get clients. And that's great if you want to go from invoice to invoice or client to client, kind of like you might be always out of a job. But if you want more from your business, if you want to be a brand that and have a business platform that attracts clients to you, where you don't have to go and chase them and convinces them before they even get on a call with you of the value of working with you, then you need more. And this is where this episode comes in. The big question is, how do you make that happen? So over the last few weeks, I've been giving you some examples of some of my clients that I've worked with in the past a while ago and my more recent clients, and how did they go about the process. So I'm going to give you more insight into the magic that goes into the brand building and the website process. And so you met Roy Bell, who did an amazing job with his business. So we worked together years ago, and he has this incredible coaching business that is all around mindset and resilience. And you could definitely check out his episode. It's powerful. I actually have 2 episodes with him. You also met Renee Bruns, who recently launched her business where she's a consultant to association executives. So you can learn more about her, and she's got a gorgeous website. And then, of course, Jennifer Starnes, who launched her career mentoring business where she helps people be successful in the software industry. So you heard from her. And then Jahan Blake. What's great about this episode is I'm going to be able to share with you best practices and what we did with people who recently launched and then people who've been at it for a while and how they've adapted and grown as business owners and entrepreneurs. So that's what we're going to be doing in this episode. And again, if you missed any of these episodes, head on to my podcast, and you could also find these episodes on my YouTube channel and on my blog. So today, here's what I want to do. I want to take you behind the scenes into the how. How do I make this happen? What do I do with my clients? Because without the how, it's going to be confusing. I'm also going to be sharing with you in this episode the number one secret, the number one thing, the number one strategy, the number one shift that you need to create that premium brand positioning, the client attraction, your client impact, your values-based fees, so much more. So I'm going to tell you all about this at the end of this episode. So definitely tune in, stay there till the end and hear all about that. And I also have a brand new course that I am working on the finishing touches to. It's my closing and pricing mastery course. And so what this course does is it really takes you by the hand, step by step, around how do you land clients. So all the brand building work that we're talking about and all about owning your strengths, all of this comes together when you actually monetize it, when you're in front of a client. And so there's certain skills that you need to do. And the good thing is you already have these skills. It's a lot about the relationship, but you just need some techniques and templates and tools and that kind of thing. And definitely have some pricing formulas. All of that is in my latest program. And I will tell you how you can get this program for free at the end of this episode. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be going over my Get Seen and Paid as an Expert framework. So I'm going to walk you through my 4 steps on how that happens. So it begins with your brand positioning and your strategy and your messaging, your website copy and design, your visibility and content marketing methods, and your partnership proposals and pricing. So I'm going to go into the details. So now let's get into the meat of this episode and the hows around how do you do this. So let's talk first. Step 1, clarify your brand positioning and messaging. So this is all about how do you stand out in the crowd? How do you make the competition irrelevant? It's also how do you get that clarity and confidence and the value of what you do? How do you find the words to describe it? That's that first step. This is that fundamental foundational piece of your business development. And so here's the thing, big news flash. People don't buy your methodology, your credentials, or your certifications. And that is just a hard truth that sometimes us consultants and coaches have a hard time with because we spend a lot of time developing our methodology, our credentials, and our certification. And the thing is that they buy the value of what those things create and what working with you creates from them. So for example, if you were going to go to a mechanic, you wouldn't say, oh, I'm going to the mechanic for their XYZ machinery or their unique techniques. You're going there to get your car fixed. So your clients are coming to you with a problem that they want to get resolved into value. And that's the key of your brand promises. How do you convert that? So there's a lot of things that might be in your toolbox. So as a consultant, you might have a lot of things, focus groups and Gallup team blends and mind mapping, force field analysis and change management models. And coaches, you have as many processes and tools in your toolbox as well. You have the grow model. You have all kinds of assessment tools that you can use with your clients. So these are great tools in your toolbox and you need them. But what a client pays for is around how you uniquely guide them from today to their ideal state, the strategic transformation. So using the examples, I'm going to be going back to Roy and to Jahan and to Renee and to Jennifer throughout this episode so that I can point out the different aspects of what different people have done so it could be more tangible for you. So for example, Roy says very explicitly on his website, he says, I work with people of color to break through adversity, hardship, and past experience with ease while cultivating a resilient mind and unstoppable life. So it's clear that he's working with people of color to break through adversity. So the problem that somebody might be struggling with is adversity, hardship. And what he does is he helps them move from there to this unstoppable life that they are able to have. So that's the transformation that Roy's clients are paying for. Now, Renee has done an amazing job really tapping into her superpowers. So she's clear that she's an organizational, strategic, and alignment specialist. So she has a unique superpower around aligning her clients around a common growth agenda or a common strategy. That's what makes her special, but she's still focused on who she serves, which is the associations. And what do they need? Is they need to get to the next level of engagement, achievement, and sustainable growth. Let me say that again. So her clients, though, are clear. They're association leaders who are looking to get to the next level of engagement, achievement, and sustainable growth. So she's positioning her expertise towards this particular problem and this particular client. So the way I want you to think about branding is the same kind of other associations that you might have for brands or situations that you might be in. So let's say, for example, if you're going to go and get some popcorn, you think about popcorn in one way, but if you think about popcorn when you go to the movies, it's in a completely different context. You may be out and about somewhere and not care about getting popcorn, but when you go to the movies, you need to have some popcorn. That's the power of branding, is when you make the association. So that's what we're trying to do with the brand positioning, is we want to make an association in the ideal client's mind between I have this problem and you. So other examples you might be looking at is a hot dog versus a hot dog at a ballpark. I know for sure growing up, going to the Cubs game with my family, I never had hot dogs except for when we went to the Cubs games. Or if your nose is drippy, you might not just grab a tissue, you're going to grab a Kleenex. That's additional power of branding. So thinking about it from a consultant standpoint, let's say you're really good at leading a workshop or facilitating a meeting. So it could be like Renee, where you are aligning your team around a common growth agenda. So the context that your help is needed is so important. They need you when everybody's on different pages around how to grow the business. So that's the context. Or it might be that you have that same skill set, but you're dealing with silos who are having all kinds of conflicts, and that's affecting production lines and all kinds of other things. So that might be a reason why somebody would call you in. Or let's say you're a coach and you're somebody who helps with the mindset like Roy does. It could be for certain lifestyle reasons, or it could be because you are helping somebody who wants to launch a business. That context is what's important. Or it could be that that particular person is looking to find love. So you're helping them with the mindset still, but it's helping them to find love. Or maybe it's just somebody who's seeking more peace in their life, a little bit more like where Roy's at. So you want to create that connection between the client and their problem and you and your expertise. That's the essence of branding. And if you can get that right and get that really clear in your mind, then the rest of what you need to do with your business becomes much more focused, much more clear. So let's take action. Think about it for a second. Who do you serve with your business? And more importantly, what problem do you help them solve? That will help you clarify what value do they get from working with you. So do you got that in your mind? Okay, great. So let's move on to step 2 of my 4-part framework. Step 2 is all about designing a credible website that converts. And yes, it is possible to attract clients on your website and convert them, to warm them up into clients. Now, you may not have a click add to cart, for what you want to offer for multiple, for $100,000 gigs if you're a consultant, or a $10,000 coaching engagement. That's not going to happen. But you can definitely get clients to be excited to jump on a call with you and warmed up where they're almost ready to buy, but they're definitely going to still need to jump on a call with you. So let me go over 3 simple strategies that transform what most consultants and coaches have, which I would kind of refer to as online brochures, into these like 24/7 sales and marketing teams. So simple strategy number 1, invest in the best quality visual design that you can afford. Now, I get that budget could be tight. It's challenging when you got a lot of expenses, but it will definitely pay off for you in the long run. Professional photos do so much for your website. Now, I know if you're listening in and you're a consultant or coach, one of the biggest angsty points is, oh my gosh, I don't want to be seen on this website. That's so overwhelming. And I totally get that. But what you're doing while putting your face on your website is you're really creating a limbic connection with your clients. You are making them feel like you're a person that's behind all of the mission and they can connect with you. So if you are having an opportunity to view this particular episode on either my YouTube channel or my blog, you'll see a picture of Jahan, who's beautiful, but her business is all around helping high achieving women in the sports industry. So she's got her rings on that show that she's part of this particular industry. So she's bringing her personality. She's friendly. She's fun. You're connecting with her. You could also look at your visual branding from the standpoint of the photos, but then of course, your logo and your graphics and all those things that go along with it. So one part of your logo, you probably know you need a logo. Most people know that they need a logo at some point, but what they may not recognize is how important having a consistent color palette is and fonts that are consistent. So you'll see if you're consuming this episode on my YouTube channel or on my blog, you'll see what Renee has done with her visual branding. It's gorgeous. But what you could see is she has her colors and she brings the whole thing out into her LinkedIn profile. She has branded PowerPoints. She has branded Word documents, and she has so many other things that will communicate to her client that, yeah, you're a premium brand because everything matches and everything goes together. And then, of course, there's the website design, having a custom design. So the benefit of a custom website design is there's so many layers. Like, first off, if you did not go to school for website design, the whole process can be super overwhelming. So it's super helpful to have somebody who knows all the moving pieces and parts and all the techie language so that you don't have to worry about it. Like, you may not know about favicons and forms and integrations and all that kind of stuff. So that's super helpful. But some of the things like what my team can do, like what you'll see with Jennifer, for example, if you visit her website or if you are watching this on my blog or my YouTube channel, my team was able to really draw out her personality in a way that she might not have done on her own. So we were able to bring in her logo and other icons in the background and really create her personality and bring that to life. So that's a huge benefit. But the thing about having great visual branding is if you have words and things that you want to communicate, the visual branding enhances that. So you want to right size your visual branding. You don't want it to be so overwhelming where it's so beautiful that nobody's reading anything, because that's not going to convert. So you really want your design to support it, but having a high quality visual branding and design definitely communicates in an instant, like, wow, yeah, you're the real deal. We definitely want to work with you. So now I've talked about copy, and I'm going to really dial into this one because this one's super important, because we have a really hard time as consultants and coaches writing words that speak to the hearts and minds of our clients. So simple strategy number 2 is to ditch that corporate speak, and all that business professionalism that we are trained, or even some of the businessy lingo, like, we might talk about, like, we strategize people to help create synergy, or any of those big words. We think that it makes us sound smart, but it makes our clients feel dumb, and they pop off our website. So the words are super important. And this has been one of the most challenging aspects of the whole process when I work with my clients. So they really value that I could help them put words into, like, I could take their thoughts and turn it into words that convince people. And I also now have a copywriting team who could also help with the website copy, because it's just such a learning curve and it's so difficult. So let me give you some examples of what I mean by that. So again, here's the corporate speak. We might say something like, my consulting services are designed to help you optimize your internal operation and use technology to enhance patient care. It's like, okay, whatever. That doesn't sound that exciting. We can make it easier and more engaging, where by just simply talking to our ideal clients and simply saying something like, I'll help your nursing team get their admin tasks done faster so they can provide better care for your patients. You could see the difference instantly. One is about you and it's in all this gobbledygook. The other is about the client. And now they can get excited, like, yeah, I want to get my admin tasks done faster. I want my nursing team to provide better care. Yeah, that sounds good. Or another way we could say the same thing is we could say, tired of cumbersome admin tasks that keep your nurses at their stations and away from caring for their patients? Let's turn this around. The person reading it would say, yeah, I want to turn it around. That's the power of copy. I'm going to share some examples from a coaching standpoint as well. So we might say something like, my coaching services are designed to help you enhance your reputation and improve your individual, team, and organizational performance so that you can better compete for future career opportunities in your company. Mouthful. That's a lot. So what you could say that's more simple to the point is, I'll help you land your dream job. That's something that a client would say, yeah, I want to land my dream job. They may not know that they want to enhance their reputation and improve my individual, team, and organizational performance, but they definitely know they want to land their dream job. Third simple strategy, include clear calls to action, especially to book a call with you. So one of the things I highly recommend throughout your website on all the pages is definitely put little calls to action. Book a call, book a call, book a call, or schedule a call, schedule a call. Or if you look at my website right now, it says, let's talk, let's talk. I've had many clients push back and say, well, they could see it up top. They could see it, like, you might have it on your navigation bar where they can reach out to you. But if you have it throughout the whole website, it's just reinforcing over and over again, like, yeah, the call to action here is to book a call, that you want to talk to them and you're excited to talk to them. So you can see some examples on how both Jahan and Jennifer put their calls to action when you get to the bottom of page. Like Jahan might just say at the bottom of her pages is, hey, not sure where to start? Well, let's talk. Join me for a free call so we could talk about how to give you a competitive advantage. Schedule your free consult now. Or Jennifer, in her personality, might say, are you ready to reach out and connect? Start working with me. Learn more about my services. Book a call. Either way, your goal is to get somebody on a call, and you want to make sure that they are clear that it's not this rush sales process, but you are there to really listen to them. You're a consultant, your coach. This is what you're great at. So let's take action. Think through, what is one change that you can make to your website right now, including getting one. If you don't have a website, you don't have a business. So it's very important that you have a website so that you have a tool to attract and convert clients. All right, now let's get into step 3, which is all about growing your thought leadership through visibility and content marketing strategies. There's a lot of ways that you can land clients as a consultant or coach, and networking and referrals. that's a strategy, and you could definitely do that. But if you want to be a premium brand, which is what this particular episode and what this mini training is all about, you really want to use more visibility and content marketing type of strategies. So let's talk about why this is so important. Let me tell you the surprising truth about credibility and establishing your credibility, which has nothing to do with your credentials. So if you're on this journey, so let's say you're a new business owner or you've been at it for a little bit, but you've got hit or miss with your client attraction. So you might feel like you're this best kept secret. Then you're going to move to this next phase where you're going to be the sought after expert. That's what we're trying to do right now. And ultimately, then you're going to be able to be seen as this thought leader. So you may not feel like you're ready for thought leadership, but what you could do is work on becoming a sought after expert, which will help create the conditions that you will naturally become a thought leader. But all of this requires being able to consistently create remarkable content. So remarkable content is the kind of content that makes people sit out and take notice. And so you really want to have that part down, but you also want to use different types of mechanisms to get in front of people. So for example, Jahan has this amazing podcast. It's called Game of Her Own. It reinforces her brand. She has an opportunity through her podcast to interview potential clients, past clients, and other people. And it's engaging and it's interesting. And you know what? When she does her podcast and she interviews people, those people will also promote her podcast, which also draws traffic. Roy also is focusing a lot right now on becoming a guest podcaster. So that's somebody who joins like how he joined and got on my podcast. So that gives him additional exposure as well. What's really cool about podcasts, which you're experiencing right now, is you're spending some time where you have somebody like me who's sharing what I do and you're getting to know me. So what's interesting after I've launched my podcast, when people get on a call with me, they act like they already know me because they do, because they hear my voice, they hear my personality over and over again. So podcasting is a great way to go about doing this. The other thing that you can look forward to, even if you're not necessarily ready to start and create a lot of content, is by being a guest on other people's podcasts like mine, it might get picked up in other ways. So Jennifer and Renee both were on my podcast, and both of their podcasts got picked up by Management Consulting Connection. So they got additional visibility through my podcast. So there's a lot of great benefits from that standpoint. And then, of course, Jennifer didn't just have that happen. She posted it on social media. So now this is interesting. She's creating value out there. So you don't have to write a ebook, or you don't have to get your signature talk right now to start being the sought after expert. Just start creating content. Just start putting your ideas out there. And you think about it right now, where are you listening in? I have content on my YouTube channel, on my blog, and now on my podcast. So you're listening because I have a content marketing strategy. So we're getting to know each other through my content. So that's where there's other benefits. There's so many other benefits of content. It's fun. It's a great way for you to get your ideas out. It's a way for you to tap into your bigger why and what you're trying to do. It's a great way to help people. There's so much that's involved with content. I'm going to be doing a mastermind at the end of this year all around content marketing and how to set up your content for conversion so that you are coming up with your great ideas. You're adding tremendous value. You're using your content to grow your sought after expert status, but also having an opportunity to use that as a platform to springboard into, or a platform or a springboard into your bigger mission in the world and what you want to create in the world. So definitely look forward to that. So here's what I want you to do to take action. Just do one small thing. Think about that one question you get asked all the time. Write a short article, do a little audio, make a video, do a social media post, do something to answer that question. If content is not necessarily something you're comfortable with yet, just do that, and that will be a huge jumpstart for you. All right, now let's talk about step 4, which is all about positioning your proposals and pricing for partnership. How you set up your offers and your options in your proposals, and what price you use and the pricing models you use determines whether you're going to be seen as that extra pair of hands or as that expert. So what you need to do is do this pivot. And the pivot is avoiding this one big mistake that a lot of people make, which is giving clients whatever they ask for. Because if you give clients whatever they ask for, you will not be positioned, seen, or paid as a partner. You will be positioned and paid as a pair of hands, what you want to do is pivot them from wants to needs. So to give you a very tangible example, so years ago, I worked with Lisa, and Lisa had a client who came to her with a request for a conflict resolution training. And so as I worked with Lisa, what I helped her do is really master that pivot. So that initial question, or the initial request was, we have that conflict resolution program. Okay, great. What you do is like, well, that sounds super interesting. I'm so glad that you asked me about that. But before we get into that, tell me why. What difference will this conflict resolution program make? And so through great questioning and probing, Lisa was able to get her client to reframe it as a business issue, which they said, hey, you know what? We're struggling with a lot of production defects and failed lots that's causing us to lose a lot of money and potentially our biggest customers. So we're in a very different realm here. Implementing a 1 to 2 day conflict resolution training at max would maybe yield what, $10,000? Now we're in a much bigger zone where this particular client is losing millions of dollars. And if they lose their big customer, they might close their door. So getting the client to reframe it as business issues and put numbers against it by saying something like, hey, if we just reduce the failed lots by 5%, that would save us $1 million just in this quarter, because that kind of stuff is really expensive. So now we're dealing with a much bigger project that has much more value, and Lisa is able to bring a lot more to the table. So the reality is, what a client wants might be that solution. That's what they're thinking about. But what they need is something strategic that creates an ROI. That's where you get to pivot from seeing yourself as an expense to be managed to an investment that delivers a return. So that's an important part here. And so that's all about how you're able to master that conversation. And so what you need ultimately too is you want to get paid for your value and contribution. So when you do that pivot, it serves the clients and it serves you. And by the way, this example that I'm talking about earned Lisa well over $200,000. So that was a worthy skill set to invest in. So take action now. Just think about, what is one thing you can do to enhance how you land clients and what pricing strategies you will use. So now let me talk about the single shift, the biggest thing. So I teased that at the beginning of this episode. What is the one thing? What's the most important thing? Those are the 4 steps that we're talking about. What's the most important thing? What can you do that would be that Occam's razor, if you will, that will transform your brand clarity, your confidence, your premium brand positioning, your attractions, your fees, and so much more? And here's that shift. Here's the biggest thing that I want you to be thinking about. You might be asking other people, you might be asking yourself, this might be the question that keeps you up at night, is how do I find clients who want and will pay for what I do? And let me tell you, there's a much better question you should be asking. The question you should be asking is, who do I want my business to serve? Who is my business focused on? The big shift that will transform everything is when you get the spotlight of your business off of you and onto the person that you want to serve through your business. So this is that shift, the game-changing shift. First who, then what? Build your business on who you serve. So the thing is that you already know this, because as a consultant or coach, you know what makes businesses successful is being client-centric or customer-centric. You need to do the same thing. It's very, very hard for us consultants and coaches to do, because again, we have that nose to the window pane syndrome, and we're really focused on our methodology. And this is really hard to see a lot of times. So it's very important. It's the most essential thing. So please stay tuned. In a few weeks from now, I got other episodes that are planned, but in a few weeks from now, I'm going to really dial into this ideal client. And I'm going to do an episode specifically on 5 things to know about your ideal client. And I'm going to give you some hacks to get into the heart and mind of your ideal client. So definitely stay tuned. If you're not already a subscriber to my podcast, you definitely want to subscribe to my podcast so that you can get this episode. Or if you could also subscribe on my YouTube channel, but I would definitely subscribe on my podcast. So we made it through the 4 steps to get you seen and paid as an expert. Let me recap them real quick. So the 4 steps are, number 1, your brand positioning, strategy, and messaging. So it's really important to get clear on who you are, what you do, what's the value that you create, and mostly who you serve, and get those words to describe it so that when you go to a networking event and somebody asks you, what do? You have those words. So this is one of those areas that most marketing agencies, but most business mentors skip or gloss over. And this is where in my program, I go really deep. The second is website copy and design. So I begin with copy, then design. So you definitely want to get clear on how all of those messages turn into website copy. And you want to surround those words with great visuals so that you could have a digital store that attracts, impresses, and then converts clients. The step 3 is all about visibility and content marketing methods, which is all around how do you position yourself? How do you market yourself that you look like somebody who is an expert using your content marketing? And then finally, pivoting your clients from wants to needs so that you can land clients who will treat you and pay you as an expert who is worth those premium fees. So that's the framework, the action items. Let me do a quick recap on the action items. Number 1, think about who you serve and the problem you solve. That's the number 1. Then identify one change that you can make to turn your website into a 24/7 lead generating / client conversion machine. 3, write one piece of content, one piece of original content. It could even just be something that you put on social media. Just, start priming the pump here and just get that content, but do it in a way that addresses that question that you get asked all the time. Be thinking about it from your client standpoint. Identify one change you can make to improve how you're positioned and paid when landing clients. And then, of course, if you need help, book time with me at www.betsy.Jordyn, and remember, Jordyn's with a Y, .com/schedule. And let's talk about that. The people who love working with me and my team are really looking for 3 things. So I just want to give you some insight into the value of working with me. The number 1 is that clarity and confidence in the value of what they do. So a lot of people come to me and they know they have great experience, they have great skills. They just want to get greater clarity and confidence in the value of what they do. But the big, big, big value is these persuasive words. So through the strategy work and then through the copywriting support that I offer through my team, we will get you those words that will resonate with your clients and get them to act, get them to say, oh my gosh, you're reading my mind. Where have you been? I need you. Like, they'll definitely be convinced at a heart level. And so I help you with the words. And then I have end-to-end creative support. So I have an amazing visual branding team, website design team. I'm adding to my team now a videographer who can help create social media videos. I have a podcast team, and I have so much more. So definitely, if you want end-to-end creative support, where you want to have that strategy turn into your actions and you don't want to have to work with tons of people, that's what we do. One of the things I'm offering right now for a limited time is I have my brand new closing and pricing mastery course. So this course takes a lot of the content that you might see on my YouTube channel and just takes it to whole new levels. So I am working really hard to make sure that I provide my clients everything they need to land work, because all of this brand work would not be anything. What's the point of doing it if you can't land clients and you can't get paid what you're worth? So this takes you by the hand, step by step, through the whole process around using your relationship skills to develop a really credible relationship with your clients to get them to pivot from their wants to needs. I also include pricing formulas. I include writing guides. You get fill in the blank proposal templates. You get tons of swipe files. You get a lot of examples of proposals that I personally use. You'll definitely want to get that. And this is coming right now free to the people who sign up for my brand programs. Any of my programs, you'll get this program for free. And I'm also throwing in one other thing is, it's one thing to have all of the information, but what I experience with my clients is they really get much stronger of a transfer of learning and much better results. Like, they dramatically grow their per contract fees like Lisa did through the on-call access and support that I provide. So I will help you with your real-time opportunities. I'll help you role play. What are you going to do in the discovery meeting tomorrow? I'll review your proposals. I'll brainstorm with you on pricing. You get all of that. So definitely want to take advantage of that right now. So thank you so much for listening. If you've enjoyed this episode and if you have a colleague who might get value out of it, please share it with them. You can follow me on social media. I'm on LinkedIn. I have tons of behind the scenes consulting and coaching tutorial videos on YouTube. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you definitely know that. And until next time, thanks for listening. And again, if you want to work with me or want to work with my team, head on over to www.betsyjordyn.com/schedule. And I'd love to chat with you and figure out what you need that will maximize your time and budget. So thanks for being a part of this mini training, and I hope this added value. And I can't wait to hear how you've turned your strengths into a powerful premium brand.